Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. It is July 29th. We've got an FOMC meeting this week. My camera is a little bit too low. Anyways, I don't know if we have a whole lot of serious news until then. Well, let's go over here and check just to be sure. Oh, yes, we have core PCE price index and personal spending. So that's tomorrow. So we actually do have some pretty important numbers. Chicago PMI on Wednesday. ADP, this is a kind of a weird week. And then we get the non-farms on August. So this is a really big trading week. Kind of could be interesting to see what happens after that if things really die down. We'll see. But in the meantime, there's no news today. It's Monday. And yeah, Mondays usually suck. Let's go to the charts. So let's review what happened on Friday. So if we look here on our Xeon chart, make it big. We had a big move down on GDP news. Was very, very good. Notice the spread came back in the 2s and 10s. But there's definitely somebody fighting it down here. And since that time, we have started to retrace higher. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this single print area here, 127.15 half. Overall, kind of interesting to me. It seems to me like somebody is trying to buy it here. Somebody thinks that the Federal Reserve is going to be easy or something like that. Here in the E-mini, stock market did seem to like it. We're at all-time highs once again. So we'll see. And there was the first trade of the session was down. So I think we can trade this today. I'm going to be a little bit overly cautious though because I'm feeling a little impulsive today. And my head kind of hurts. So I'm going to be careful, but we're definitely going to just try and find the signals. It may be giving us one here at 14.5, but because it is at the open, I'm not entirely sure. I think that you go with this one and you buy it, but let's let it establish itself first before we start taking some trades, huh? Let's see here. IQ, good morning. Luke Nuke, I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, so welcome back. Uzi, what does Uzi say? ZB 154.27 was my first upside target, hit a little bit ago. 154.11 is below the IB. If we get below the IB. Well, and speaking of which, let's clear and load our levels. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Clear, load. It's a pretty tight range overnight, but we are above everything, so that would also favor buying. We're in buy all the things mode right now. It kind of looks like even he is below the previous high, though. Interesting. Meanwhile, in the news, so much news this weekend. Well, not so much news, but Donald Trump is certainly stirring things up, isn't he? Let's see if we got anything good on CNBC. Janet Yellen says she's in favor of an interest rate cut. Well, no duh. The dove of all doves is in favor of a cut. I'm surprised. Well, I guess it's news that she says it, but you'd have to assume that that's what she's going to do. Looks like it was, at least for a tick, it was a sell. It was a reversal. There's a 154.13 point of control from Friday. I was zoomed out too far to see it on my 30-minute chart. Do I have that one marked? 154.13. We don't really need to because it's the opening range low. I don't know. Here's the thing. My biases, we're above the opening range high. We're above the bull bear zone high. First opening move also appeared to be long. So I would favor a long, but A, it's Monday. So we know that things are going to be kind of difficult anyways. And two, there was somebody trying to sell it so strong. I don't think that it's going to go unchallenged. And the range is so tight. I really got to see a really good risk reward opportunity. I don't think that it makes sense for me to just buy in right here in the middle of the range and everything. As much as I would like to just up and buy all the things. Yeah, those levels are all kind of sandwiched together, is what Uzi says. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. What is this? China says the U.S. threat to pull recognition of China's developing nation status at the World Trade Organization shows its arrogance and selfishness ahead of crucial trade talks this week. Somebody explain to me why China should have developing nation status, please. I think that Donald Trump bring out a good point there with China and developing nation status. He's been on one this weekend. You've seen all those tweets that he made about Baltimore and stuff. Oh my gosh. So he spent this whole weekend. Who was it? I forget the guy's name now, but there's a representative that doesn't like Donald Trump. And he's all, we're going to investigate you forever and ever and ever. And so Donald Trump just goes after him. Just full-throated goes after him. Points out all of the supposedly corrupt things he's doing and how he hasn't really helped his constituents and how his district is like one of the worst off districts in the country and stuff. And I mean, Elijah Cummings, that's right. He just totally, and there's like 20 tweets about this over the weekend. This has been a long time since Donald Trump has gone off on something like this. And it kind of looks to me like it was a pre-planned strategy, and he is just running with it. And now this morning, Al Sharpton has decided that he was going to show up, and Donald Trump immediately went after him too. And so the headline that I read when I wake up and I get into the shower is beloved civil rights leader Al Sharpton. Donald Trump launches attack into beloved civil rights leader Al Sharpton. Oh, okay. Al Sharpton has a 60% negative favorability rating in the last poll that I looked at. He is an extremely unpopular figure. I bet you, would not be surprised at least, that Donald Trump has been saying this whole time, yeah, we're going to go and we're going to find somebody that is going to, attack us on this thing, and I'm going to go after them for how awful their district is. And then eventually, I want to go after people that are unpopular and that I have something that's I can really attack them with. And so, I would love it if Al Sharpton would show up, because he's always race baiting and he's always trying to insert himself into situations like that, and people absolutely hate him, and then I can attack Al Sharpton, and that will help me because I'm attacking Al Sharpton. Al is an FBI agent. I've actually heard that he is like an informant, isn't he? Or he's been involved in something in the past. I'm gonna have to research that, but I think you might be right, IQ. I don't like going off into things that we can't prove. I'm always saying, you have to provide proof. Is Al Sharpton FBI? Hold on a second. Reverend Al Sharpton admits to being FBI informant. There you go. So Al Sharpton is an FBI informant, part of the Deep Swamp. Well, I don't know. I think that Al Sharpton is just out there for himself, and on an issue of race, such as Baltimore is becoming, he could not help himself. I think he could not help himself. Yeah, I said Google it. Yeah, we Googled it. It's right there. First result on Google. How much you want to bet that by the end of the week that you don't get that result when you search it? Just saying. Not saying conspiracy theory or anything. It's just we know how Google works. Okay, so I am getting kind of some interesting readings here today. We're not seeing like a real event, but it is churning quite a bit here at the beginning. So not super positive action. Let me close the blinds here. Can you hear my voice ricocheting off the window? Uzi says there are no conspiracies with Google. Google is categorically a manipulative, supervillainous organization. Listen, Uzi, let's not harp on them too bad. I don't want to get banned from YouTube. All right, they'll eventually find their way. I like to try and be positive. I think that the United States has a really good system in place. Politically. You know what I watched yesterday? Hold on. Let me get a Kleenex before I go off into something. I think it is like full on summer and my eyes are watering quite a bit here. You talk enough about politics and YouTube will crush your balls. Right. Well, I don't want to be... although I know it's hard, it's very hard when you're talking about politics because everybody has an opinion and your opinion is going to come out. And obviously, our opinion just come out there that Google has not been a fair, what is the word? Impartial actor in the political sphere, right? They're absolutely, without question, trying to push one side. And that is kind of scary and completely inappropriate for a company in that position to be doing that. That's an opinion. But I like to try and keep it to analysis. Like my analysis of this, it looks to me like this is an intentional strategy on the part of Donald Trump. And he was probably waiting for Al Sharpton to show up. Because the way that he's tweeting about it, it's like 8 in the morning there. It was not even 8. It was like 7 in the morning there. He was waiting for Al. How did he even know? I didn't even see it reported anywhere that he was showing up. He wanted to do this. He's waiting for him because he knows how unpopular Al is. And he knows that if he goes in and he attacks Al Sharpton, that the Democrats will just knee-jerk reaction will be to defend him. And once again, he places them with the Democrats defending something unpopular. He's just baiting them into doing it. And it's an intentional thing. As another example, I'll just give you a counter example here, okay? Eminem. You notice that when Eminem came out and he kind of wanted to have at it with Donald Trump, that Donald Trump basically ignored him. It's because Eminem is popular. And Eminem is actually quite adept at the same kinds of social media conflict, sort of PR type of things. Eminem was probably one of the people that he studied when he was learning all of these sorts of things. And so that's why he avoided causing any conflict with him. This is the way that he works, and Democrats are just falling right into it. Do you hear the congressional testimony of that Dr. Epstein guy, hardcore lefty Clinton supporter from 2016? He testified to Google, Facebook, and Twitter's election manipulation influence like millions of votes and risk to their manipulation. Was his name Dr. Epstein? I'm pretty sure I know the video that you're talking about, though, because I saw that on r/. I think I saw that on the Donald subreddit. But yes, he was saying that Google was had an estimate of how many votes they were influencing, and it was a lot, and it was enough to sway elections. It's quite disturbing. Anyways, yeah. So what was I going to get into? That to me is more like analysis. I mean, it's kind of a very colored analysis, but that to me is more like that's useful to you, right? And that's different. I don't want to be propaganda, if that makes sense, because then you're into the Google will demonetize you sort of area. Anyways, so I was watching yesterday. I had never seen this movie before, but I was watching the Lincoln movies, directed by Steven Spielberg. A very, very good movie. And one of the things that struck me was that they totally used corruption to get the 13th Amendment passed. They straight up bribed. They did everything that they had to do that, and including misleading Congress. I would say he didn't lie to them, but he definitely kind of misled them. You are propaganda from the right. I got it. You gotta say. Oh, Uzi, it didn't post the link. I think you have to put a space. Oh, actually, it did on my screen, but not. I think that it filters it somehow. Robert Epstein. That should be enough for people to find. It's definitely out there. Anyways, it was just really stuck out to me that they had used pretty much straight up corruption to pass the 13th Amendment. And Dan Moore says, flex? No, flex. Listen, I have a super tiny, I am not a big person. My biceps are actually a little sore because we worked on my yard this weekend. And we finally got all the grass in. I can show you that here in a second. And I was picking up some rocks, and those rocks were really fucking heavy. And I think that I kind of made my biceps sore from that. Anyways, it seems to me, though, I wonder, or, this is just kind of a starting thought, but there's been this whole thing. Remember we were saying that, the money usually wins. It's a feature. I'm kind of starting to think, there is a lot of corruption in Congress, and sometimes it's a bad thing. But I also have to wonder if it's not a feature. A congressman can say no. It's totally up to him. They can choose yay or nay. There's nothing to stop them from making their own choice based on whatever qualifications they choose, whether it's that they were bribed to do it or because they have an inner belief in something. The one senator that was really pushing for abolition really hard, his wife was African American, and he wasn't telling anybody. He was pretending that she was his servant or whatever for public view. Anyways, it was just the whole thing was there was all this stuff going on behind the scenes to get it to happen, but it was pivotal in it happening, and it wouldn't have happened without it, and it was important. And if it had not happened, and then the South was ready to surrender at that point, they would have prevented that from becoming an amendment, and it would have continued forever and ever. So I kind of have to wonder if maybe it's a feature of democracy. You know what I'm saying? But I thought that was an interesting thing. And just going back to the reason why I brought that up was because I really think that the United States has a great system. We're always thinking about the bad things. And I, in particular, I am a critical person. I just think that we have a real propensity to be negative and critical. But I think there's a reason that the United States has been as successful as it has. And I think that the United States has been able to navigate difficult issues in democracy in the past. And I think that this thing with Google, I think that they can do that too. It won't happen without a fight. It might take a long time. There might be a ton of drama involved. But I think that ultimately we can work out a set of rules wherein we can have large social media companies and they do not put undue influence on the public. And conversely, I think that we can get past this thing where we have to worry about how Russian trolls can influence the public. Is like, okay, well, maybe you should teach the public how to not be, beholden, how to think independently. Maybe you've enjoyed a complacent public for too long, and it's time for them to get smart, huh? But I think, I like to be optimistic. I think we'll get through it, because that's what makes the United States such a successful company. Is that an uptick? Well, I can see a really big bid being stacked and pulled at 14. There's almost 1,500 being stacked and pulled at 15. 14 when it was on the inside. I have a hard time to look at screens. Then hearing you on politics, I have to put it on mute, so give a heads up when you come back to Dome. So ZBC 155 even. That bid at 14 makes me think that we're going to move up. Don't you think? Anyways, that's another thing that I've thought about before is, not everybody wants to hear about politics, but that's me. Sorry. I don't really like politics. It's going to happen. And like I said, I'm feeling a little impulsive today, so I'm probably going to go off on it. Maybe. I think that I missed a significant bid there. I think he's going to try and push it up. Yeah. Look at that. Now that's interesting. That's really interesting. So they tried to push it, and then the ask came out of nowhere and really stuck it too. Duntix has me thinking up to, I don't have 155 as a marked target, but it's close enough to be hit. 155 is the end of the single prints. So it's a place wherein you would expect to see some resistance, and sure enough, there they are at 15. As soon as they touched into 15.5, it came in and pushed back. I don't think that I got enough of a, that wasn't necessarily the signal that I'm looking for. But I think that was a short. Very clearly a short there. They touched 15.5. Seller came in immediately, pushed it back down. Now we're 2 ticks lower. Yes, this is the single prints from Thursday. And there's another set after that, right? Because then there's another set from basically 16.5. Well, I mean, that one doesn't technically count, but when you look at it from here, okay, when we look at the things that were only touched once that day, it definitely starts there at 15.5. 15.5 to 12.5. But I like to look at the move, here was a test before the move. lower, and then they came up, and then this is where they broke. So this would have been the level that we would have been looking at to see if they were going to break, right? It's 19.5. So 19.5 is still a critical level as well. So if we get through 15, then it's 16.5, and then if we get through 16.5, then it's 19.5. Our IQ says R1 is 154.27. Well, I gotta wonder. The thing that I find really weird about that whole thing was that it kind of felt to me like they were kind of gearing up and that they were looking to really hit it and push higher. But it never really came. And then when they hit it, there was that whole scuffle. And even after that scuffle, you didn't get a ton of action. So I think that was a trade, and normally that would have been a trade, but there's not enough action for me to take it. You know what I mean? I need to fix my... Zero Hedge says, here it comes, the most important week of the year? Could be. Oh, Donald Trump had another tweet I missed. The EU and China will further lower interest rates and pump money into their systems, making it much easier for their manufacturers to sell product. In the meantime, and with a very low inflation, our Fed does nothing, probably will do very little by comparison to bad. Well, I don't know how to handle that one. I honestly don't think that the Federal Reserve should lower rates just because everybody else is doing it. Wouldn't you agree? Man, if they really tried to lower rates to compete with the other nations, you would have a real risk of the economy overheating. And you're setting a really awful precedent, too, because then you're basically saying, hey, here's a way that you can manipulate the Federal Reserve into doing what you want. You know? That doesn't seem like a good idea to me. But it does hurt that we're going to be lower. Well, it hurts trade, at least. It's good for the dollar. There are good things about it, too. There are good things about it, too. I guess we could look at it from that perspective. I'm going to post this on Twitter. So you know what I found out? If you go to Twitter and you post something, you don't get you can post a picture, but not from TweetDeck. Last swing equals 24. Current swing equals 22. 22 ticks? I find it interesting. Look at this swing. Oh, we need to move this back over here. Look at this swing. 7, 4, 5, 5, 6. Hmm. Now a lot of big asks shuffling around way down. It's just the robot swinging. But IQ, when you say last swing, are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about ticks. Yeah, I asked if it was ticks or price. He means ticks. Was it really 22 ticks up? I suppose it depends on where you're considering the swing from. Oh, here we go. Crazy Bernie Sanders recently equated the city of Baltimore to a third world country. Based on that statement, I assume that Bernie must now be labeled a racist, just as a Republican would be if he had used that term in standard. The fact is, Baltimore can be brought back, maybe even to new heights of success and glory, but not with King Elijah and that crew. When the leaders of Baltimore want to see the city rise again, I am in a very beautiful oval-shaped office waiting for your call. Really? That's interesting. What would the president do? 9:40. That's when you say this swing started. Okay. I gotcha. I gotcha. A bit of Brexit stuff going on. I gotta really turn my head to see this screen. I think I need to get this on a screen a little bit higher and bring it over. I don't want to have to turn that far to see it. Wonder if a kid moved it. Okay, so now we're starting to get something here in the 14 halves. But it's, again, within the range. I'm surprised with them having made a new high and everything like that they're not trying to test lower first. Vegas authorities say Sin City grasshopper plague is mostly harmless. Now, find it interesting. I keep seeing this story about the grasshoppers. Is that just in Las Vegas? Because I'm not seeing them here in Utah. But my understanding is that there's a locust, Rocky Mountain locust. Let me show you. There you go. The Rocky Mountain locust is an extinct species of locust that ranged through the western half of the United States and western portions. So what is the difference between a grasshopper and a locust? Locusts and grasshoppers are the same in appearance, but locusts can exist in two different behavioral states, solitary and gregarious, whereas most grasshoppers do not. When the population density is low, locusts behave as individuals, much like grasshoppers. We got eastern lubbers here in Florida. Look, this big boy's up. Okay, eastern lubbers. Things to amuse ourselves with in this spot, because I don't want to trade this location, but it is giving me one. It is giving me a signal. But can I say higher or lower? I don't think I can, especially not after that, what happened there, 15 half. Ooh, that is disgusting. That is just, it's a grasshopper. It's a grasshopper, but it is a really effing big one. Okay, anyways. When the locust population density is high, individuals undergo physiological and behavioral changes known as phase polymorphism, and they form gregariously behaving bands of nymphs or swarms of adults. In addition to changes in behavior, phase change may be accompanied by changes in body shape and color and in fertility, physiology, and survival. These changes are so dramatic in some species that the swarming and non-swarming forms were once considered to be different species. The scale of population increase and migrations also distinguish those species from as known as locusts from grasshoppers. I see. That's curious. These things swarm and nothing kills them but force. I feed them to my snapping turtles. You have a snapping turtle? You keep a snapping turtle as a pet? That they did tick up there. It'll be interesting if they go with the trend here. I don't know what my deal is today. It's not like it really hurts, but just like up here in the top of my head, kind of a little bit of a headache. I'm wondering, am I deficient in something, or is it like my neck and my back? Like, am I holding too much stress in my neck? I have two, both since hatchlings. A common snapping turtle that's 15 years old and an alligator snapper that's 10. And are they nice to you? Because snapping turtles are mean, right? I wouldn't. Interesting. Well, they really pumped that bid up at 15.5, didn't they? Look at that at 15.5. 5,000. And the offer's not pulling? How long has that 17 been there for? What? What? Okay, that 17 hasn't been there for too long. Wow. I don't think I've ever quite seen anything like this. I don't know about. I think that's a reversal again. Well, no. I mean, the signal that we get was within the range. No, it is. She's probably too late to catch it, but. $12.99 in the queue, probably too late to catch it, and there might be another push. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if I can see Uzi's link. It's not showing me links anymore, Uzi. I don't know how to do that. You should put it in Discord. That's an easier way to do it. Well, it's been too long. It's kind of interesting. I wonder. It's going to be very interesting to see how this one turns out. Maybe that second one works. No, it removes the links for some reason. I mean, usually you have to put like a space in the link, right? So that it doesn't recognize it as a link. Or at least leave out the HTTP part or the .com part, because those are the parts that it looks for. Curious, because it's saying that I could get filled there. I don't like it. I like the way that it's kind of giving me another signal now. It's kind of making me think that maybe people are feeling left out. But that makes me think that it's not a short. Makes me think that they're going to try and push through. And maybe you're going to get a tick or two, and then they'll overdo it. My birds this weekend have been really chatty. You hear them right now? They're just going bonkers. Well, that offer at 15.5 isn't just letting it go. That's a lot of activity there now at this spot, though. A lot of activity for not a whole lot of orders going in. Man, bird, chill out. I don't know if I would have actually have gotten filled yet, because that was like 1,200 in line, and like 700 had already. Could look back at the video, but I don't think that I would have gotten filled yet. Well, there's a downtick. Doesn't hold. E-mini's doing something too. E-mini had like a little bit of a pop there. No, that one didn't matter. I don't know, guys. Pretty awful. Pretty slow. Crazy stuff happening, and then it's just dead. And I'm falling asleep. See, don't you want to talk about Donald Trump now at this point? Can you imagine? What would we do without Donald? Now, when Donald Trump is no longer president, how are we going to entertain ourselves? I don't think that America will be able to handle it again. You know, like politics being boring again. I don't think that we can do it. I think that you know, it's like in X-Men with Apocalypse. You know, that like if a greatest evil is destroyed, then another greater evil has to come up to take its place. Not that I'm saying that Donald Trump is evil, but he's chaotic, and I'd say that if a you know now that the political system is in balance with Donald Trump craziness, if Donald Trump disappears, we're going to have to get another equally crazy politician to be in there and stir things up and keep things interesting. The world will be boring when he's gone, but we'll be too busy shining the communist boot on our necks to care. No. I'd rather die. I'd rather die. My, oh my, communists. This is another thing. So after I watched Lincoln, I was watching Ken Burns' documentary on Vietnam. And I was watching about the Tet Offensive. And it was very, I don't want to use the word shocking, but like it really made my blood boil that when the communists attacked in the Tet Offensive, that they had a list of, you know, South Vietnam government officials and political organizers and just citizens, not people in the military, but just citizens that they viewed as enemies of the communist state. And they organized commandos and stuff to just go in to their homes and kill them and their families. That's freaking communists, man. He's the last Republican president, mark these words. Oh, I don't know about that. There will always... The United States is a two-party system. There will always be an opposition party. But anyways, it's just like... It seems to me that if there was some sort of a communist revolution or something in the United States, that I would not live through it. Seems to me. I'm not inciting people to violence or anything like that. That'd be crazy. I'm just saying, know how to defend yourself, right? That's another thing that's been... So that Donald Trump saying that he's going to... He thinks that he should mark Antifa as a terrorist organization. Well, here's the thing. The U.S. government doesn't mark domestic groups as terrorist organizations. There's not like... I don't think that there's a domestic terrorist group list. And like, how would that change things? Like, people were saying the KKK is not designated as a terrorist organization because the list literally doesn't exist. But would it change anything? Like, we know that the KKK is under FBI observation all the time and all of those sorts of things, right? Not if Google, Facebook, Twitter have anything to say about it. People are too busy loving their flexing their narcissism on social media to realize how catastrophic it is. I don't know. I'm trying to stay optimistic here, man. Eventually, I think that people will sort it out. this hysteria can only go on for so long. You know what I mean? The Democrats, the way that they get around that is that they just create a new hysteria. But this can't just go on for 10 years. At some point, people are going to step back and say, hey, we're acting crazy. It'll happen. And they'll probably change the algorithms at that point to, not create constant hysteria. I don't know. If you had been able to get short at 15.5, you maybe got a tick out of it from 15. This is just, ugh. I'm also not liking what I'm seeing in the cumulative delta because it did tick down and we did get some cumulative delta short. Very much so. Mostly because of that hit that they did at 15.5 and 15. But it's not pushing them, is it? I need to move this so you can see. There you go. It didn't really push price. So what I kind of see is price quite stuck and trap traders on both sides, essentially. And probably big guys on both sides trying to push it. And the only real edge that I can see to try and predict which way it's going to resolve is that the bias is up. But the risk reward is not favorable of the up right now, so it seems like no trade for me. It's also 7:10. This is not a very good time of day for trading, is it? For trading the treasuries here before the equities open. Trump tweeted about Al Sharpton hating whites and cops. I hope I missed it. Oh, I didn't see that. Not a new tweet, but yes, he did say that Al Sharpton hates whites. So this again, I think it was like premeditated because he was saying that Elijah Cummings was racist. And and you have everybody out there, even some of the Donald Trump supporters going, well, so how exactly is Elijah Cummings racist? In what sense is he racist? What was the action that he did that was racist or discriminatory? And I don't think that anybody is quite sure. But then Al Sharpton pops up and he says that he's racist. It seems to me that Donald Trump is trying to push this reverse racism angle. I think he wants to talk about what is it? Like in colleges and universities that if you're a minority, it's easier to get into college and those sorts of things. Affirmative action. I think that he's trying to bring up the affirmative action debate. I think that he wants the liberals to come out and say, yeah, but a black person can't be racist because you're only racist if, it's because racism is about the establishment or whatever. So a minority can't be racist because they're not subject to systemic, because they're not contributing to systemic discrimination. Which is I'm not saying I agree with that or anything. That's just what they say. Calling Cummings a racist is a miss, but pointing out the failures of congresspeople in their own districts is reasonable. Yes, and it's an attack that he's used many times that hasn't quite gone anywhere. I think it's because people are saying like, oh, Donald Trump is clearly racist because he doesn't do that to white people, but he attacked Nancy Pelosi for that too. There is a power outage in Utah. There's been a lot of that this summer. I wonder what's going on. There are 2 bids below us in the ZV. that have shown up. That is interesting too. The 23 and the 21. It's kind of interesting. The thing I like about Trump's Twitter page is how Twitter prioritizes all criticism of him to the top. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's... I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know if it's actually Twitter. I think that the people that don't like Donald Trump are extremely motivated and organized, and they know how to manipulate Twitter algorithms to do that. And I don't think that the Donald Trump supporters are very active on Twitter, and they don't have a network like that. And so I think that they're just constantly getting beaten out in the algorithm engagement. I don't know that for sure. I'm not an expert in Twitter, but if I was seeing that on Reddit, because Reddit, it's all based on upvotes, it's because they have berry brigades and stuff. I know for a fact they have berry brigades. Back during the Obama years, I was really, really into Dig, and I really wanted to be able to promote stuff. I don't even remember what I was promoting at the time, but I felt like, I should be able to pimp things on social media. So I should try and be able to post, become a power user or something like that. And my understanding about how to do that was to add people onto like Google Talk. And then you would pass links to each other through that. So when Operation Wall Street came out, I got messages from my Dig network that they were going to be doing an Operation Wall Street thing like weeks before it happened. It was totally a planned thing, and they were even talking about how Gawker Media had agreed to help and was going to be publishing stories about it. And they were like, trust us, is going to be a big thing. And then sure enough, Operation Wall Street happened. It is a cell. It looks like the cell is going through now. You could have gotten 2 from it. I don't think that I would have ever gotten filled at 15.5 though. Anyways, it totally happened. And then the conservatives on that website kind of got tired of it and tried to create their own berry brigade. One that was not very successful and got infiltrated and exposed quite quickly. But I would still get stuff from the Democrat activists, and then of course Dig fell apart. And when Dig fell apart, they were saying, "Oh, come over to Reddit, because over on Reddit we have we hold all of the moderatorship positions on the subs, and so it's a much better place for progressives over on Reddit because of that." And so they were totally left Dig high and dry, not because Dig wasn't a good website or anything, but they started leaving it earlier because it was better for them politically. They absolutely 100%, all of the progressive activists, they have like Telegram servers and all of these sorts of things, and they are all about manipulating social media to their advantage. And I'm sure or I wouldn't doubt that they're just taking advantage of the Twitter algorithm better than the conservatives. Well, 13.5 would be 4 ticks. That's how you would want to get it. Okay, Donald Trump, some new tweets. The Fed raised way too early and way too much. Their quantitative tightening was another big mistake. While our country is doing very well, their potential wealth creation that was missed, especially when measured against our debt, is staggering. We're competing with other countries that know how to play the game against the US. That's actually why the EU was formed. And for China, until now, the US has been easy pickings. The Fed has made all of the wrong moves. A small rate cut is not enough, but we will win anyway. What do you guys think? Do you think that it would be good for the Federal Reserve to cut more than a quarter point? Because he's proposing something that I don't know how it would work out. This is a 5-tick swing, by the way, so the downswings have been 4 to 5 ticks. And there is some iceberging up 14. Trump really going after the Fed today, yeah. I don't know, man. Trying to use the Federal Reserve as a weapon in foreign policy, foreign trade disputes. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what I can't even begin to fathom what the potential consequences of something like that would be. All of the tweets, all of the squawks picking that up now. Market's clearly aware of what he said, but they don't seem to care. I think the market should buy this motherfucker just to spite him. Not that I think it should, but that might happen here. We are at a spot where it might turn. There's an uptick. What was that one? A little stack, but it's just 32 ticks out. That doesn't matter. I should probably, having seen that for a while, I mean, I kind of think that those matter because I do see ticks and stuff based off of that, but I think I want to filter those out. I think that those ones on the very inside matter a lot more. So let's go and read the comments on it right now. Okay, Gray the Bot. The Fed raised way too early and way too much. I find this amusing. At the end of the day, they have to change the way they operate. It's just as much about regulations as it is about lowering the deficit. No, wait, no, it's not. It's about balancing out inflation, guys. The federal. I mean, okay. No, I think that I've just realized maybe if you want the Federal Reserve to be involved in federal trade disputes, you're going to have to put it into law, probably. Because the Federal Reserve's mandate is employment and inflation. That's it. And they can't, by law, they can't take anything else into consideration. And the, what is the word? The inflation is close, but, they could say, well, because of these other countries, inflation pressures are going to remain low. That's okay, but I'm going to type something here. Well, anyways. I'm not so sure about this downtrend either. They give us the 5 ticks back, but A, it's like right in front of the E-mini opening, and B, well, mostly that. I mean, it's a 5 tick downturn, so this is like exactly where you would expect it to turn, and it did. You don't know if they're going to make it up past 15, but this could be where it flips and they only get 3 up and then they do a larger swing down. And it's like right here next to the E-mini, and the E-mini kind of still looks like it wants to buy. I could be wrong, but it's pretty sparse this morning too. We've been talking, that's the problem, we've been talking too much politics. You and my Uzi were driving everybody else away, I think. It could be. That or the casual users are just bored because we haven't taken a position. People like to see the position, that's for sure. I wonder why they haven't touched 13 very much today. That's a little weird too, don't you think? See, it's just ticking around there at 14, just as vaguely as ever. Like, I just can't read anything from it off of that. E-mini is selling. It's very quiet. It is. It's Monday. And I'm sleepy. I'm giving that yawning. I hope I'm not making you yawn. Does seeing me yawn on camera make you want to yawn? This is just really sticky, icky action. They gave us a good short there at 15.5. But I think you have to take it off here at 14. So you get +3 on it. Whoop-de-doo. I'm just saying, whoop-de-doo. The problem is, well, think of it this way. When we have a Federal Reserve meeting, there are very often strong trends leading into the meeting. Here on Monday, no news Monday, no move. Then it's just not going to do anything. Why put your risk on today when there's going to be such great trading later in the week? Almost sure to be great trading later in the week, right? Now, the counter to that is there was certainly some big guys doing some stuff there up at 15 and 15.5, right? Why? What was the incentive there? Are you IQ asking if Uzi is short? Well, hey, maybe we come back and we test that opening range high at 154.19, huh? That tends to happen, right? That's certainly a possibility. Although if we tested 90, that's so far away from the profile. Oh my gosh. Why am I yawning? I need to slap myself awake. It's just, if they push down that far, wouldn't they would want to keep pushing, right? Uzi's still flat. I look stupid slapping myself there in the video. Nope. Well, the E-mini has opened up and it's still slow. And there are some big bids below us though in ZB that kind of make me think, I don't know. I'm seeing some weird stuff both directions right now, folks. But I don't like don't like the position and all that. But I think that my gut is saying lower. I think that they're going to buy the E-mini and they're going to sell treasuries down, and that ZB is going to try and make a test at that overnight opening balance, opening range, and that there are some big bids below us at 23 and 21 that expect to be filled. Okay. An ask pulled and a bid stacked. So the market maker is listening to me and is like, "Oh yeah, Seth. Well, how will you feel if we made it tick up?" Oh, look, the Prophet Muhammad is subscribed to me on YouTube. That's interesting. Eric Erickson, the president, is right about Baltimore. I really don't like Eric Erickson, but he has already drawn me in with his clickbait headline. I'm increasingly of the opinion that if the president tomorrow tweeted that the sky was blue, much of the press and most progressive activists would denounce him as a racist and declare the sky some color other than blue. Pundits and talking heads would go on television to describe how the president is a know-nothing and explain light reflection and angles of light rays coming through the atmosphere. The same would happen if the president said humans breathe oxygen. Half the progressive movement would be wiped out overnight as they started inhaling carbon dioxide. ZB at the top of the range was one tick away from 0-0. I missed a single print zone, so I wasn't even thinking of selling. Y'all spotted that. I didn't. Oh, right. Yeah, but we spotted it early. You still could have taken that trade. I mean, the bigger thing was that there was I think I misread a signal there. Because there was a signal at like 15, and I said, well, it's in a range, so I don't really know what to make of it. But it was a signal because what happens was they were pushing up, they made it up, and when you've gotten a signal like that, you know that it's going to overcook soon. And so then it did it again, and when they did it again, they smacked it down. And that was the trade at 15.5. It was only worth 3 if you were wanted to get that swing. But it was a legit trade. Legit trade. And now I think the question is the trend over or not? And this is where we'll find out. Because if the trend is over, I think that we should get back up here to 15.5 and we should see a lot of activity. Now, right now at 15, and given the way the E-mini is trading right now on the open, that one's kind of looking doubtful. But there's still those bids below us at ZB. So we may yet go down. I don't know. Too hard to say. Too hard to say. I can hear like sounds like the garbage truck, but it's not garbage day. Let's see how we've been doing. I want to make sure. Hey, no, we're doing pretty good. In the past 48 hours, we've gotten 10 views on our top 5 trading books video. That's good. I didn't get quite as many comments about recommended trading books on that video as I had expected. And by the way, if you still haven't gone out and made a comment on that book, and I know a couple of you guys have, but if you haven't, you should go and give a recommendation, because that helps make that thread a better resource for people. And it was a good video, I thought. But I got 15 hits in the past 48 hours on my Top Step video, and that's always like my best performing video. And I got 10 from the trading books one. So I'd have to say that we did enough that it's catching people. And YouTube seems to think that it's worth showing people, so I'm happy. Let's see what the click-through rate is on it. Well, it's trending about average for one of my videos, unfortunately, in terms of like performance, but reach viewers, click-through rate, 6.2. And that's pretty good. Most of my videos average 4. About a third of my impressions are from YouTube recommending, 6.2 when that means 32 views from impressions. It's good. And most of my traffic has been from YouTube. Like, it's showing me Reddit and Twitter because I posted them there, but those are small. So it's good. We're doing good. The ZB stopped at open 25. Oh, yes, that was the open, wasn't it? And we get in a signal here within this range. It could maybe have been a buy, but it's not giving you a good price. There was some buying in the 5-year there too. Really strong buying. E-mini's selling, but the E-mini selling is kind of more just like return to the mean from Friday being so strong up. Gold is the best performing currency in 2019. I've been I'm always skeptical of when I start seeing them talk about gold on CNBC. But I gotta admit, the case for gold right now is pretty strong. And it's been doing well. Oh, good morning, Algo Lover. There you are. You know, I'm surprised that you decided to join us on such a slow and boring Monday. This is just not the best action. Reddit not picking up on any of this stuff. Let's see here. Algo says, always something to do. Yeah. Well, we chat a little bit. It did give us a good signal up there at the top, and it may actually be giving us a good signal to break through here, but I just don't like the positioning still. I would maybe consider a short at this point. It's getting close to the time that I could take one. He says if buyers maintain their bid above 30.17, then 30.34. Oh, and there's wrong. I was wondering where you were wrong. It's interesting. It's been really quiet this morning. Not very many people watching. And then all of a sudden, like, numbers just spike up to our usual numbers. So thank you guys for showing up. But I don't like day straight so far. I'm feeling a little weird, to be honest. I don't know. I kind of got like this like vague feeling of a headache or something, and I don't know why. So I feel okay otherwise. I didn't think that I got a bad night's rest. It wasn't great, but I didn't think that it was bad. Oh my gosh, I had this really bizarre dream that my family was watching some movie, and it was about like Western, like pioneer day immigrants or something, and somebody's like entrails fell out, and it was gross. And I don't know why I was having dreams about that. Maybe it's because I have colon problems and I have to get a colonoscopy in like a month. Maybe that's why I'm thinking about it. I don't know. And right now, that hasn't felt very great in a while. Maybe that's why I'm feeling a little. I don't think that would cause a headache, but that certainly can affect my energy levels. And I worked hard on the house. Oh, you guys want to see that? I can show you guys that. Wow, one of my friends got jumped on Facebook. Facebook. That's not a very good picture. Where's a good picture? Huh. I like our pictures. Some of them, they don't give the best view. Yeah. Here, so I'll show you. So here's the steps that we built. I originally wanted it to be a ramp, but she wanted steps, so we built steps. And I got that nice white rock in there. I think it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but and we still got tons of plants to plant, right? I'll close that. And then here's like the look of the other ramp that we had a guy come in and make for us, so that you could get the lawnmower up to the other side. So the reason it took us so long was because we had to build this. We decided, and then we could put that next layer of grass in. But we did that, and it's done. So now hopefully we can focus on some other things. I'm hoping that we can have a good fall. And I'm enjoying just going back on that back porch and just sitting there, kind of like a meditation sort of a thing or something like that. Algo has comments about gold too, huh? But it sounds like you're saying that you would be favoring buying the E-mini, right? Right here at 746, this is where it's like I would like to try and take a trade. But I don't know. The risk reward would favor going along here. This is at the overnight open. That overnight opening range is pretty much the whole E-mini. And we're kind of in the middle in terms of volume too, so I don't think that I can really read anything into any of that. And Treasuries, they are moving up slowly. 4 ticks going higher. Decent amount of activity on the way up, but it never quite getting to turning around areas. Alcohol Lover says nice pullback in ES. So sounds like you are favoring long here, huh? We'll take both sides of a market, but the swing trend is bullish above 3017 from right here. Yeah. Well, kind of where I'm getting at is like by 2022, maybe? I don't think it's a bad idea, but I kind of suspect that there might be another push. What was that just there? Kind of stacking and pulling all over here in between 14 and 14.5. Median S&P earnings beat the lowest in 5 years. Really? You see, so now if I go back and I look at that Donald Trump tweet, the top the top ones have changed. Top comment is, let's help our president, real Donald Trump, and get Adam Schiff out of Congress. Please follow Team Jen Barbosa and make it happen. So, and that one got 362 likes. In the next one, we trust your judgment, President Trump, 79 likes. I don't think that Twitter is engineering it against them. I think that people are brigading the tweets. And by the way, we are getting pretty good sell here. Sell volume coming in is, well, I'm not quite sure why that sell volume is coming in, to be honest. I can't really make sense of that. It still looks random. Higher activity. Yep, still 900 at 21. It's looking really likely that the ZB is going to go and take out those big bids after all, huh? See, now if we go back and think, remember last time we said that we were kind of at this spot, and then we moved up like 2 or 3 ticks, like almost as soon as I said that. And we're like, well, maybe the market maker hates us. But if you look at it from another perspective, maybe the market maker was going, yeah, that's right, I'm going to push it down. Would you like a really good chance to get on board? I could push it back up to 15 and let you in. Maybe that's what was going on there. We can look at it from a positive perspective, right? Block buy in ZB. How big was it? Ooh, 461 at 24. They were very big. Very big iceberg at 24, though. Kind of seems like that the big boys are still lurking out there, huh? Oh yes, I forgot. I totally forgot that there was a mass shooting over the weekend. I haven't seen anything about that. I'm gonna do a little quick check here. Nothing on Reddit about it. Maybe people don't like as much this anymore. 3 people dead. Oh, that's awful. Murdering 3 people, including a 6-year-old boy. That's awful. And the suspect was 19 years old, and law enforcement shot and killed him. Okay. Investigators are trying to figure out why Santino William Legan opened fire on the storage sub. Okay, so Santino, that doesn't sound like a white person's name. And maybe that's why they're not talking about it. He looks like a white kid. There's the person. Santino William Legan, 19, has been identified by CBS News as the suspect in the mass shooting at the Gilroy Garlic Festival in California. The shooting Sunday night on the final day of the annual event at Christmas Hill Park in Gilroy left 3 dead. Blah, 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 blah. A second suspect is still on the run. Legan, who identifies as being of Italian and Iranian descent, posted on Instagram before the shooting. And can we see it? Yeah, of course not. Legan has an Instagram page with 3 posts. One of the most disturbing appears to have been posted shortly before this shooting. A garlic festival time get wasted on some overpriced stuff. Gunman in camouflage with a long rifle. Please searching. Well, I really hope that this doesn't affect my garlic coin. Maybe we should, have a garlic coin fundraiser for the victims or something like that. That would be cool. But, we don't want garlic to be associated with mass shootings now. It is interesting. This has been a sell in terms of volume, and it moved up. It moved up against the volume. They sold that. Well, I think that I guess it's more complicated than that because the ZB sold and then flipped back up. The ZB seems to be indicating that they got trapped. And now an iceberg at 15, that could be more than enough to push us up again. I don't know. This looks like a really good level break setup to buy it at 15. It looks like that heavy.com article is the only real action I'm seeing about that on social media. And only one post to the Donald about it. Okay. Bids at 15. Here comes the E-mini going after that 17. The empires would need to bid above 17 for any continuation. Well, that's definitely the level. The order flow seems to be given some indications of continuation, though. Like at that they at the very least want to try for it. So somebody just stuck 1,000 on the bid at 15. Somebody's going to block buy that. Okay. The offer hit instead. So I am kind of, this is the decision point, right? Normally it's a reversal and I'm saying it's a continuation. So we'll see. But the way that it's trading and the correlation and everything seems to suggest to me that they're going to try and punch 17. And that E-mini is going right towards where Algo was talking about, right? 3017. 4 ticks away. I guess I should have sold the E-mini when we were back there. I don't think that would have been good risk reward. I don't think that would have made me feel very comfortable, but it was a good sell. Okay. He just gives the thumbs up. Well, see, this is the place where I have trouble because, okay, do you short it right here now? And maybe they hold it. Maybe they go through it and then turn it around, you know? Can't be sure. I just don't quite understand how to play his particular setup. Okay, so there's 3017. You know, can you short it there? I sure am tempted to just short it there. Hmm. Yeah, you're too deep now for a good risk reward. So, at what point would you like let it go down and do the pullback and try and take that one? Is that how you would play that? If you wanted to go short in the E-mini, so let him push, take the first pullback and go short. Well, they went down and they touched it. It's unfinished down at the bottom of 3017, but they're already pulling back. There is an iceberg on the bid in the ZB. It still looks to me like maybe the ZB got hit some trapped traders there. Short off the open based on what I posted for an anticipated pullback. So you wouldn't try buying that, huh? You like to play the pullback. It's interesting. Hmm. Okay, so ZF took a little bit of a shuffle down, but it didn't go. ZB is trying to buy up through here now. I'm not quite sure why ZB was all the way down there, but that might be some spreading going on. Falling asleep here again. Give me an uptick. Give me an uptick. It's like I need the norepinephrine. Give me an uptick here. Keep me interested in this. Okay, well there was a little bit of volume there. Buying. Hmm. Eyeing that low again. 2 ticks away. Seems really unsure. Well, there you go. They're touching the unfinished auction again. Nope, not that time. You're curious. Are they going to get a little bit of a flush? No, they went and they took a new low and it wasn't too dramatic. Algo Lover says 17 is broken, so anticipate lower. But that's still the question that I want to know, though, Algo, was at what point do you short it now? Do you short it at 17? I want to know if when you don't have to explain how or anything like that, but I just want to know at what point would you short this in the E-mini, that is. Okay, so they just took it at 15 and there was a pretty good offer stacked on top of it when they did so. But bids are still, well, that's interesting. It looks like, I'm not quite sure what to make of that, except for that I just see bid, 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 bid. And then they take it down like that. I'd like to think, though, that's not positive. It's just so slow. And the E-mini is still selling. I don't know. No, allow a stop run bounce if given, then find entry. The way it's moving is a little odd. I'd add that the mini pushing lower didn't really necessarily lead to any unusual behavior in the treasuries, but the treasuries did just tick down again. So it's kind of looking like we're in sell all of the things mode. It looks like I was wrong about that being a continuation, huh? Hmm. I feel sleepy. Uptick. Downtick fighting. $30.14.75 would be the next level through offer through if sellers were serious. They're kind of dancing around there on the level 2. They kind of always make it think like, oh, we're going to stack a little bit. Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. You ever play Soul Calibur? And there's a character named Zanshua. Ooh, look at that flip there. And she's the annoying little girl character. There's always an annoying little sister character in fighting games. You have to have that because, you know, when you're a teenager and you're looking for people to play with, usually the annoying little sister wants to play and they need to have somebody to play as. So there's always the annoying little sister character. And that's what she is in Soul Calibur. And she has a move where she says, just kidding. Every time it does that. Like, hey, we flipped it. Just kidding. And now 14.5 pulling again. That time they're absorbing the hits, though. And there they flipped it again. Seems like they might be taking cues from the 5-year here. The 30 years just even. 500 by 500? So when I see 500 by 500 in a location like this in the ZB, are pretty likely to get filled on both sides. Oh my gosh, really? So there is an offer iceberg at 22.25. And the 5-year traders seem a little hesitant to buy it up because it was only down to 300 and they didn't try and take it bid. And it flips again. And looks like some absorption at 22 as well. My video encoder complaining. And my bunny moving its water dish around the cage upstairs. She must be getting bored. We need to get her a hutch outside so she can amuse herself a little bit better. Well, we may be getting another event here, but we've had them many in this area. It's been incredibly tight today. We've seen some slow days recently, but I think this is like the tightest we've ever seen it this year. Or basically within an 8-tick range for the whole or extended session by 8:15. That's pretty tight. Well, they sold it at 14.5. And a pretty strong offer they place on it too. 5-year 200 on there. They're not going to buy that? E-mini catching a little bit more solid of a bid. Here's the bounce in ES. So this is the one that you would buy, huh? Or sorry, the one that you would sell, right? And so it's a bounce, but then do we sell it at 19, 20? Treasury's not seeming to react to it at all. It seemed for a moment that maybe they were being driven by the equity action and then maybe it was sell all the things, and now it looks like it's a wash and it doesn't matter. 5-year is the driver, though. If 20 holds, then yes. ZB about to make me refill my darn coffee. I am falling asleep here, folks. I'd say I don't like being in a position for 20 minutes and it barely even going 2 ticks. I think that that is an indication that my initial trade was bad. Okay, so they're trying to buy it back up and the offer is still there. But there's clearly big guys on both sides of this. Well, are they going to buy it up past 22 and a quarter now this time? So there's still 500 on there. They should, seems unusual that the 5-year is having that hard of a time to get something to tick. I'm not seeing very many level 2 changes either there. It does not get much worse than this. I just find the financials very boring to trade. Well, the financials are slower. That's for sure. But I personally don't. I personally hate being in a position and just having it flip all over the place. That that makes me feel sick. I hate that. But you see here, this just the 5 years shouldn't be having this much trouble. It's just that taking the edge trade, it's like the robots aren't into it. You're scared. So we got like a so we got a -4, a 5, a 5, a 7, tick swing higher, and then back to 5, and then up 4 and down 3. Well, yep, I sat and hoped on that one long enough. Seems like he's got them stuck now. Okay. I think that signal that we got was a reversal, but it just went totally in. If you took that 17 short, you'd be part of this stop run higher. Yeah, well, I haven't seen anything terribly crazy yet, but it's still kind of like, where does it stop? If you wanted to take it short, where would you do it? Anyways, I mean, it gave us two kind of tepid ones here and here, right? It's kind of weird because I want to say that it was buying up, but there was like no follow through. Is kind of what it felt like to me, you know. So I think we could chalk that one down to possibly a correct read, but just failed trade or whatever. Now at 824, it's probably a little bit too late. 2050 or lower if they hold the offer here. Well, I see a big bid offer at 2020, 3020. I'm not sure where the coffee is from. It's donut flavored stuff. They make donut flavored coffee? What? Okay, that sounds unhealthy. chocolate donut flavored. To be honest, it doesn't taste like chocolate donuts to me. Is that like chocolate powder? I don't know. Well, let's go and post let's generate the charts. Is 2050 is the over under? See, at the moment, I feel like that it's going to do whatever it can to keep us out of making a trade. It's just going to be as boring as possible. How's Bitcoin doing this morning? Price action still looks incredibly negative in Bitcoin, but they are kind of building up some transactions, so there's that. And let me type here. Let's see here. That was the first time I ever had coffee. I've never really been a coffee guy. I mean, I'm an LDS, so I don't drink coffee. I hate the smell of coffee. I don't like that smell at all. I can't imagine that stuff tasting good. But yeah, it works for people, whatever. Interesting that, we got out, but it let us out. If we had stayed in it, we might be able to get out at 14.5. But at the moment, it just kind of looks to me like there's no real reason for it to move. They definitely sold the the 10-year here. I think that there's probably a lot of shorts that if they pushed it back up, that they could really they could catch a lot of people trapped, but they're just not doing it at the moment. And it's not giving us a clear reversal signal either. Maybe it might do that here, but can't say. So I'd say I think that we took one trade and it was okay, but it was a loser. That's okay. And only 2 ticks loss is fine. I just don't want to make like the big question thing in my mind is, are you going to get a signal? It's still a key decision point, and you've got to have a read on the market to know if it's going to go through or not. There was a good chance that it was going to for at least a little bit, but this is so range bound and maybe it wasn't worth it. But it only losing 2 ticks and it being super slow during that time, yeah, that's okay. And another thing is we were in it for so long, we weren't seeing exactly what we should have. We probably could have gotten out of that a lot faster and maybe gotten out only -1 or break even. So it's cool. It's cool. What else we got? I just posted the Patreon notes. So for those of you that are subscribers, you can go and check that out now. And if you're not a subscriber, you can go in and you can check out last Monday's note if you would really like. Or you can just go and, become a subscriber for $5 a month. I'd appreciate it. And we use that money to go back into the stream. And I would like to, I've got most of the things that I think we can put in. The only one thing that I think maybe the stream could use is it's a slightly better webcam. But I think, this webcam is okay. So it's not really a big deal. So I think that we might start putting some of that into trying to get some better charts somehow. Maybe we could rent some web space and make them dynamic for you guys. But I think I would, in order to justify the monthly expense, I think we would need a couple more subscribers. So if you subscribe, it helps out for that. Oh yeah, do you guys want to see the super secret? You have to say yes, we want to see the super secret. If you want to see the super secret project. We could wait till tomorrow. We have most of you guys are here, but there's still a few people that aren't on today. We could do it tomorrow. Are they going to take down finally? The thing that I'm noticing is just that I'm thinking about is that there was that period where there was like tons of bids. It was around when I took it. Yeah, right there. There was a ton of bids. And there was 1,000 put on the bid. I don't know. Well, there's a downtick. Is ZB going to be able to hit through 21 now? I'm not really seeing the market get excited about it, and that can often mean continuation. Usually when asked by Eurofolk, then I'll cover. They're open, maybe nap and go then back to our pre-market. Well, they never got over 2050, did they? Did they? It was close. No, it says, my chart says that they did not, in fact. 301975 was as high as it went. I've wrestled with running the overnight ever since I traded currencies. Haven't been able to pull it off yet. Oh man, holding currencies overnight's got to be like, you don't want to do that. That's where the overnight move just depends on where it opens and you're out, you know? ZB is definitely stacking as they move into this 21 or 20, I guess, but there's still a decent amount at 18, but it's not as much as it was. Megaminder says, I smell. Well, I actually do tend to smell, but I don't know how you would know that. Yeah, I'm keep up very heavily on my hygiene, but I have a, just like my bacterial balance isn't very good, and the sweat that comes out just doesn't smell very good. And you have an egg. Oh, thank you. I've been working on it. I shaved it really good. Like I got it really nice and smooth yesterday when I shaved it. So he's got one of those fancy LG scented monitors. Is that a real thing? Oh, that is it was like a prototype, wasn't it? I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's shiny. You know, it can be a problem because when you get that light shining off your head, it really messes with the camera. When I make the videos for my channel, I have to do things to make the head not so shiny because otherwise the video just doesn't work. You can't get the exposure right. It is. I never thought that there would be so much to being bald, but apparently there is. Apparently there is. I totally just made that up. No, okay, maybe it's not an LG, but I'm telling you, they make, okay, here we go, sent it online. Maybe it's not a monitor, but I don't even know what you would search for. They make this device, digital smell technology. I'm telling you, it's a thing. Digital scent technology, or olfactory technology, is the engineering discipline dealing with olfactory representation. It's a technology to sense, transmit, and receive scent-enabled digital media such as web pages, video games, movies, and music. The sensing part of this technology works by using olfactometers and electronic noses. So you will have like this little nose that you plug into your computer with USB, and you tell it to smell something, and then it detects the smell, and then somebody on the other side has something, and they have some set of chemicals that they somehow digitally recreate that smell. It's not even kidding. And then you can smell stuff online. But it's like a prototype sort of a thing. Maybe they have not made a monitor. I seem to recall them something like that, though. But, yeah, whatever. I'm just telling you. Got to be careful what you eat, though, because it can make you smell. That's crazy. It is crazy. Well, can you imagine being the guy that's developing that right now? Like, your life work is making, digital scent technology. That's got to be a weird field to work in, to be the expert on digital olfactory technology. Maybe the guy is really into it, though. Who knows? Maybe, if you find this person, maybe you should invite them to come over and talk to us, and he can explain to us the importance of it. I am seeing some polling right here at the offers. We might be getting a turn. Oh, that would be so weird if this was a turn here. this has been, like, honestly, well, just from the open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is equal to the worst I've ever seen. 6 ticks. I'm pretty sure that there was a summer like 2 years ago where it was like a 6 to 8 tick range for this first 2 hours or something. But it's interesting to me because we did see some stuff, didn't we? Especially when they took that high. And that was your best trade. Was worth 3 ticks. Good grief. That's bad. And I feel bad for even taken one trade, but it was one trade and we handled it okay. Okay. You live and learn. I think that's it, folks. I think that I'm just going to leave it right there. I think we'll leave this super secret till tomorrow, okay? But it's fun. You can like it. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. I'll double check here. Did Donald Trump say anything? Did Donald Trump tweet again about the Federal Reserve? No, he didn't. Oh, well. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, I'm trying to post more on Twitter. So, yeah. Follow me on Twitter. I'd love it. And I'll follow you back. Make it clear that you watch the stream. All right. Catch you later. In the meantime, stay profitable, friends.